I'm beyond frustrated to see such careless attitude and careless behavior of international students in America. It is heartbreaking to see young people not being careful with their lives and their belongings. When I myself was an international student, tragic cases were almost unheard of. Only once in a while would you hear about an international student getting robbed, getting killed, getting injured, getting into an accident, or even getting murdered. But in the recent years, such incidents have increased significantly. There have been numerous incidents where students have drowned in pools, drowned in lakes, fallen from mountains, got into car accidents, suddenly became ill, and had some injury in the kitchen and whatnot. It is very important to take safety precautions for all such things. While in many cases, people are not entirely at fault. For example, if you get into an accident because of someone else's fault, well, what can you do? But in many cases, people put themselves in a spot where they become vulnerable. Sometimes it is not your fault really, but still it is your fault because you put yourself at the wrong place at the wrong time. Why do I say this? Let me elaborate. Let me give you some examples to make my point. Consider this incident from Georgia from a few months ago. In Georgia, an international student from India who was pursuing his MBA was working at a gas station. There, one day he helped a homeless man. But later, the same homeless man asked for free food again, and this time, the student who was working there refused. This angered the homeless man and he beat that student with a hammer to death. The person died on the spot, and this was a very unfortunate event. But what most people do not see and they do not ask is that what was he doing at the gas station? Because if you are on F1 visa or an H1B visa, you are not allowed to work outside of your work. If you are on a student visa, you are not allowed to work outside of your campus. You can take internships and you can work full-time on CPT or OPT, but you cannot work at gas stations, you cannot work at restaurants. Take a look at this another incident from Ohio from a few months ago again. An international student from India, a Telugu student, was working in Ohio at a gas station. He had already completed his master's and he was about to join his company for a job on H1B. His H1B was recently picked up. In spite of that, he was trying to make more money before he could actually start working for that company. And he was working at that gas station late at night. And then a criminal came and he shot this student dead. Maybe in this case, it was just a financial need or it was his greed. I do not know because I do not know this person personally. But the point is that he was working late night at a gas station. That itself can be quite a bit of a risk. And I have no doubt whatsoever that this student was working there illegally. Don't these international students understand one thing? You're not allowed to work outside of the campus. So this person was clearly in violation of his visa rules. Had he strictly adhered to the rules of the country, he would not be working at that gas station late at night. These people are putting their lives at risk unnecessarily. In fact, in a recent incident in Dallas area where I live, a Telugu man from India was working at a retail store and he had been in the US only for 8 months. Well, if he had been in the US for 8 months, I don't think there is a visa for you to work at a retail store. So I'm not entirely sure what visa he was on because his family was back in India, right? So he was probably violating his visa rules again. So a criminal came and shot this person for no reason. It was his first visit to the US and no way he was working here legally. Simply put, if you come here, do not do illegal things. Do not work at a place where you're not legally authorized to work. Follow all rules and regulations. And let's be real, things are actually getting worse. At least in these cases that I just mentioned, people entered the country legally but working illegally. But now more and more people are entering US and are overstaying their visas, and in some cases even worse. They're actually entering the country illegally. There was this famous case in Canada where this Gujarati family of 4 with 2 young kids was trying to cross illegally into the US from Canada. It was a very cold night and all of them froze to their death at the border. What was the fault of these 2 young children? They paid the price with their lives for a mistake that their parents were committing. And in all these cases, these people did wrong things and illegal things, but their families back home are the ones who are really suffering. So, if you're an international student or are a worker in America or planning to come here, listen to me. Follow the laws. Do not take illegal jobs at gas stations and restaurants. Do not babysit for money. Focus on your studies and your core job. You will get deported if you're caught. Forget about being caught or not being caught. Just lead an ethical and moral life. Do everything legally. But let me share my other concerns. Most people though who come here do everything legally. Most people do not put themselves deliberately in dangerous situations, but sometimes unfortunate events happen. When tragedy strikes, they are helpless. Oftentimes, students in particular are not aware of their surroundings and their environment. A few months ago, a student from Hyderabad in India was walking down the street in Chicago late at night and then he was forcefully robbed and beaten by a bunch of criminals. He had to seek medical intervention, but thankfully he was fine otherwise. What surprises me in this regard sometimes is that people have unfortunate illnesses or accidents and then they are unable to pay their bills. Some are even forced to start GoFundMe campaigns to collect money from strangers so that they can pay their medical bills. Look at this example of an international student who got into an accident in New Jersey. This young student was left with a traumatic brain injury and had many cracked ribs. Just think about it. What will you do if you are in such a situation and thousands of miles away from your family? Therefore, you should always make sure that you have good health insurance from your university. If not, you should make sure that you have good health insurance plan on your own. In many cases, people are in a transition period when they finish their masters and the university is no longer providing them health insurance, but they are not yet employed at that company. There is a small period, 1, 2, 3 months, whatever it is. And in that time, they may not have good health insurance. And in some other cases, when students just come to the US and before their classes start, again, in that transition period, they may not have health insurance. In such transition periods, you should be very, very watchful and careful. Because let's be real, health issues or injuries of any kind do not come with a warning. They just happen. And when they happen, they can make you bankrupt or even worse, make you dependent on others, not just for care, but also financially. People's lives get ruined and many are just not careful about these things. If you're an international student in the US or are planning to study in the US in the future, finding the right medical insurance can be overwhelming if your university is not providing you the coverage that you're looking for. And that is where Visitors Coverage Insurance comes in to make things easy for you. Visitors Coverage is a global marketplace for travel insurance specifically designed to cater to all types of travelers, including international students studying in the US. Whether you are a new student just starting your journey or someone who's already studying here, Visitors Coverage provides a wide range of insurance options to best fit your needs and budget. Their platform is super user-friendly, allowing you to easily find a plan that suits your unique requirements, from basic coverage to more comprehensive requirements. And the best part, you can compare different plans side by side to see which one offers the best coverage for you at the right price. So, no matter where you are from or what your specific needs are, Visitors Coverage has got you covered. If you are interested in checking out any of their plans for students, click on the link in the description below to start exploring your options. Now let's get back to our today's topic. When you are on campus and you have a late night class, you can always ask the university police to accompany you. It is also very important to be aware of your surroundings. My basic tips will be to at least carry something with you. Carry a pepper spray if you need one. And even better, always walk in a group. But the best option is to avoid transitional spaces at night. Simple rule, follow the law, pay attention, and always be aware of your surroundings. And most importantly, do not do stupid things at stupid places at stupid times. I hope these tips help and you stay safe. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind and God bless America.